introduction podcast, Generating a Table from a Formula. And I'm going to be following the sheets that you have with you. So let's have a look at the instructions. It says, using a spreadsheet, create a table showing the first 5 values and the 10th value for the following equations, where n is the independent variable and m is the dependent variable. So the first thing I'm going to do is quick intro to spreadsheets. So if you open up Excel and you just ask it to choose the first option, which is just a straightforward spreadsheet. It looks like this. So if I start with a blank one, I've screenshot the instructions here. You don't need to do that, but there we go. Okay, so a spreadsheet, for those who haven't used a spreadsheet before, is basically a giant calculator, and I can type in any calculations I like. So I can type 6 times 7. Now if I just do that, nothing will happen, because if I need the spreadsheet to calculate something, I need to start with an equal sign. So 6 times 7 is 42. And over here equals 5 plus 1. And over here equals 53 divided by 6. And it gives me the decimal. Okay, let's delete those. Now, a spreadsheet can obviously do a lot more than that, and one of the things it can do is it can use a function. So, for example, if I have the function, if I start with a number, 7, and I want the spreadsheet to multiply that number by 3, I can type equals 7 times 3, and it will give me the answer. But what if this was an input and an output box? So if I had a function and I wanted to put values into the function. If I want my function to be times 3 multiplied by 3, if I now change this to a 5, the spreadsheet hasn't changed that to 5 times 3. Now if I wanted to do that, I need to go back to my input box, and I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to type equals B5 times 3. Now what the spreadsheet will then do is it will take whatever value is in B5, which happens to be 5, and it will multiply it by 3. And the good thing about doing that is that I can now change the value of the input, change the value of my independent variable, and it will multiply it by 3. I can try any number I like, I can try decimals, and negative numbers, and it will do it. Okay, so the key thing is to make sure you start with an equal sign. Make sure you click on the cell you want it to work with, and then what you want it to do with it. So we're going to use that, and I'm going to select all. Now you can delete here if you've got messy stuff on your spreadsheet, but it's a little bit quicker if you do 2-finger click and then clear contents, and then none of the cells shift around. Okay, so we're going to create a table of values for each of the formulas, each of the equations shown there. So let's start with the first few. So first of all, I need 2 columns, n and m, for my table. I want my values to go from 1 to 5, so there is a quicker way of doing this, but for now let's just type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're also going to want 10. Okay, now when you do this by hand, when you do this on writing paper, it's probably a good idea to leave a line between the 5 and the 10 to show clearly that you're skipping things. But for the spreadsheet, we're going to leave it right below. You'll see why in a moment. So let's think about what this first equation does. Well, it takes n, it multiplies it by 3, and adds 1. So I'm going to type equals, because I want the calculated spreadsheet to do some work. I want 3 times this, which is where my first n is stored, and I want to add 1. Now let's think about what answer we're expecting. 3 times 1 is 3, add 1 is 4. Correct. And I can type it in again, equals 3 times, this time it's this cell, plus 1, and same with the next one, equals 3 times this cell, add 1. Now it's a lot of typing, and lots of you probably know that I can speed it up by just taking one of the cells where the formula is stored, taking the cross so that it's just above that box, and then I'm going to put my finger down and drag all the way down, and it will automatically give me the correct values. You'll notice even with the 10, it's multiplied by 3 and added 1. So just that step repeated, we take the cell, any cell that has the formula in it, take the cross to the corner and extend down. So that's the first one, m equals 3n plus 1. Let's have a look at the second one. So I've got n and m again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. And I just need to put my formula in. So equals, this time it's take the number, multiply by 5 and subtract 2. So 5 times this number minus 2. And I'm going to be lazy this time. I'm going to extend it all the way down and not type anymore. Next one is n and m again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's a little bit trickier, but we can still cope with it. So 100, oops, I forgot the equal sign, equals 100 times, oh no, it's minus. Now, if you think about it, this is 2 times 3, 2 times n divided by 3. Now I'm going to put it in brackets just in case, just to make things clear. So 2 times this number divided by, where's my divided by, slash 3. Okay. And there we go. Oh, and I forgot the 10th one. Okay, and just to clarify, let's just check that it works. So this is, in this case, n is 1. 2 times 1 is 2, divided by 3 is 2/3. 100 minus 2/3 is 100 minus 0.66666, which is this number here. Okay, for the next few, I think I would say maybe just watch. If you feel you need to practice yourselves, then press pause and practice. You'll get a chance to practice your own in a moment. Okay, this is B. So again, n, m, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. And the formula this time is equals 3 times n, which in this case is a2, squared. Now squared is to the power of 2, plus 5 times the number n minus 1. Just review that. So 3 times n squared plus 5n minus 1. And extend it all the way down as usual. And you'll notice that this is a quadratic sequence. It's got a power of 2. The next one is a cubic, but the process is the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10, and equals 2 times n, which is there, cubed. So that's to the power of 3, minus 4 times the number, plus 3. Now just to make a general point, some of you sometimes then tend to click somewhere else and things get a real mess. If that happens to you, just press enter and then go back and fix the formula, delete it all and fix it. So equals 2 times n cubed minus 4 times n plus 3, and enter, and then extend all the way. And then, oh, this was a cubic. The last one, this time I've got the n in the exponent, so it's an exponential or power function. N and m, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 equals 5 times 2 to the power, and again that's to the power button, to the power n, which is this. Now, for some reason the spreadsheet tends to do this, and if anyone knows how to fix it, let me know. It tends to change the power into a plus sign. So you need to go back and tell it again, I want the power. I'm not sure why it does it. Yeah, okay, but it's fairly easy to fix. And then, oops, doesn't want me to do minus 1. Okay, with the arrows, minus 1. And then always double check that it hasn't changed it into a plus sign. I'm not sure why it does that. All right, and then we extend, and there's our last table. Now you need to try the next 4. Press pause, try the ones that are on the worksheet, and when you're ready to look at the answers, press play. So here are the solutions. And I'm going to see if it lets me show you. If I click on View, Format. No, it doesn't let me see the formulas, but I will click on each one. So that's the formula for the first one. You probably won't have used A10. You will have used A2 or A3, depending on where your tables were. And that's the formula for B. That's the formula for C. And that's the formula for D. And that's the end of this podcast.